In this video, I'm going to be showing you my favorite and coolest LEGO build hacks. Stay tuned, because you won't believe them. If you've ever seen those fogged glass windows, they're also called frosted glass windows, you'll know that they're meant to obscure the view of something, usually in bathrooms. You can actually make them using Lego. Start with this 6x6 plate. I'm just using this as an example. You can use anything for the base. This 1x4 plate with 2 studs. This normal 1x4 plate. This 1x3 plate. And this 1x1 tile. For this build, I'm going to take 2 1x1 round plates, or you can use anything. Put those there, and put a 1x6 tile on top. Then, on the 1x4 plate with 2 studs, take 2 clear 1x1 round plates. After that, build up the sides using anything. In this example, I'm just going to be using these window frames. Then take a 1x6 and a 1x4 plate stacked on top of each other and put them right here. Then take this 2x2 L-shaped piece and put it on the side of the tile. Then to make the actual window of it, you take this and multiply it by 5. Stack them all on top of each other and put them in here. After that, you build this little thing with a few simple parts and put this under the L-shaped piece and on top of the windows. Using this bracket, this tile, this 1x1 of any color, build this and put it in here. And now you have a translucent window. It's actually really cool, and if you put a minifigure behind it, it's actually quite hard to see it. This next build hack revolves around this ladder piece. It actually looks like a truss bridge, but that's not really what I'm focusing on right now. If you take 2 of these and connect them at a 90-degree angle with some clips, there's actually a gap right there. It's actually a good funnel. So I built up this small assembly, put this on this, hinged it down. Realized I put it backwards. This is actually like one of those little grain funnel things that you might find on a farm. So if I take some of these Technic pins and put them at the sides, it makes an okay funnel. Honestly, there's not that many uses for these other than in farm builds and maybe factories. But speaking of Technic, this is a wheel. And these next few building tips actually show how to make pretty cool custom rims. Not really custom, but you know what I mean. Steering wheels aren't just used to steer cars. If you take this and any kind of axle depending on what you're putting this tire on, and put it in here. You've got a cool, very cool 3-spoke rim. This would look good on any sports car build. You take that same wheel, the stud can actually be used to put a tile or even something like this gold ring, just to make the wheel look a little cooler. There's more than just one way to create cool custom rims. If you take this new piece, which is this 4-tooth gear, that's at a 45-degree angle, take an axle, put it through, and put it in the wheel. Now you have a 4-spoke rim. You can also use a crown gear, normal gear, edge belt wheel, old Speed Champions wheel, double gear, this old wheel, whatever this thing is, this radar dish. These are all cool rim options if you don't want to use this rim pattern. If you've ever seen those Bonneville Salt Flats cars, you'll see that the tires or rims are just discs. That's for aerodynamics, and so salt does not get inside the wheel. Can easily make that using Lego. Get the same tire as I was talking about before, put an axle through it, get this 4x4 radar dish, put it in there. Now you have a Bonneville Salt Flats wheel. Staying on the topic of wheels, if you take any normal city wheel, take the tire off, and flip it around. Once it's flipped around, with the bumpies, with the tread on the inside, you'll get this pretty cool drag tire. If you put the rim back on, take any car, put the tire on, and do that 4 times, it looks really cool. I'm going to need that car again. Notice anything about this car, specifically this part? Well, 2 things. This easily detaches, so I can put the alternate wing on. And this wing, the main part, is actually a part for a ramp from the Stunts sub-theme, which also comes with this motorcycle with a flywheel. So by taking this and adding a few things onto it, it makes up this entire wing. This is also the wing I actually prefer to have on this car, as opposed to this one. It just looks cooler on this car. When I ordered this custom minifig, it came with this, which has a QR code for Lego.com. Well, this car is like a service car with the engine in the back and some lights. It has a 1x3 brick right here. So I took the top of it off, took this thingy off, took this plate and this tile off, and finally the brick. I put the Lego.com brick there, which it actually has QR code on both sides, so. Then when I put everything back on, assuming this wants to go on, now this looks even more like a service car. And this little 1x3 brick, don't need that. This is a Lego globe. Well, not really. It's a printed minifigure head to look like a globe. Now, if you know anything about science, you'll know that the Earth has a small tilt to it. That's what gives us seasons. Well, if you just put this on a table, it doesn't have a tilt. Well, you can easily fix that with 4 pieces. First, if you take this cool piece with the bar on the bottom, hold it so the bar is facing you, then choose which side you want to display. Then if you grab this clip, put these two together, you now have a tilt. But also, if you know anything about globes, you'll know that they also have a little bar that goes across. So, take this robot arm and this 1x1 with clip that looks like an Among Us. Clip them together, put them on top of the globe on the side that's facing down. And then swing the clip like this. You now have a much better looking globe. Adjust it so everything's all aligned, and there you go. This is a drone. Well, you're probably thinking, well, duh, Mustang Mania. Of course it is. Well, what else would it be? And also, why is the drone so small? Well, it's a small drone because it's a small drone. If you've ever wanted to make one of these in your city, there's actually a really cool way to do that. Just take a 2x2 and clip these 1x1s with the ring on it, and you already have the base of the drone done. Now, take a steering wheel and then get 3 more and put them on each of the studs on the side. And boom, you have a drone. If you want to make one of those expensive drones with the camera, just take a 1x1 round plate and put it on the bottom. Actually, in my city, I have not 1, but 2 drones. And I think this is a pretty cool drone for how small it is. It has quite a lot of detail. If you want to make it even dronier, just take a black Sharpie and color in the little dots so that it's completely black. The best part is the rotors even spin. If you're a Lego fan, any kind of Lego fan, you'll probably know the story of the infamous brittle brown brick. Or just brittle brown, because it also applies to plates and tiles. This is the the reason why this is not a prank done by Lego. Has something to do with the brown dye they put in the ABS plastic. It makes them prone to breaking. But you can actually use this to your advantage. If you have a bunch of broken pieces laying around, like I did, I took a bunch of them and created this dock that I now have in my city. And it looks pretty old. And I really like this because no Lego like goes to waste. And since this is an old dock, you don't have to care about symmetry or even color. As I have some tan, some dark tan, some knot, some lighter knot, and even some old brown. All on this. And there's literally little pieces of brown falling off. As I said, or I probably didn't, I actually put this in my bro. Okay, nothing broke, surprisingly. Just came apart. Anyway, I had this in my, and still have it in my city, as an old rustic dock. This is very cool. If you know the history of Lego, you'll know the old Fabuland series, which was pretty much a flop. But it actually gave us some cool pieces. For example, this door, which I've used on my for this dump truck, which there's a few more things I want to talk about on this. This old part right here makes a pretty tough looking bumper. I also put some caution here, and if I load it up with some rocks right here, and I tilt this back, the creep gate actually opens. That's its actual name. It's not just a name I made up. I've also used some of these barriers. I put it under here. And this piece for the front bumper, and even an old sticker from a Lego City car carrier back when the cars were actually 4 wide. Speaking of stud width, this is an old Speed Champion set, which I converted to an 8 wide from a 6 wide. But that's just a whole video by itself, so stay tuned for that. If you, really? Anyway, and if you want to actually get notifications for this, I think you can click a button. I'm not forcing you to subscribe, but if you want to, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I'm not that guy. I'm not like most YouTubers. Fun fact, I actually have this on display up in my room. This is a Lego car seat. However, if you want to make a park bench, or just a bench in general, take one of these plates. This one is a 2 by 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, this is a 2x12. No, it's actually a 2x10, sorry. If you take 5 of these and put them on here, and then take these inverted slopes, you've got a bench that can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, don't you dare, 8. If you want to have like one of those pirates, whatever, the spyglass, it's very easy to make one using Lego. Just take this cone and this 2L bar and put them on like that. If you want to add some extra detail, take this ring piece. Now you have a little bit of a gold accent on it. This is a regular Lego rowboat. It's white because, first of all, that was the only color available when I ordered it, and rowboats can be painted. First of all, I'm going to put somebody in here to row it. Then, I'm going to make this a fishing boat because I like fishing. Actually, that's going to be a soon addition to my channel. I will start posting fishing videos. I just need an actual GoPro to put on the rod. But anyway, I'm getting distracted because ADHD. So if you take this 3x4 crate, put it in the back, and then take a bunch of fish. This is actually every current color available, and put them in. And then take a fishing rod piece, bam, put that right there. You have a fishing boat. Here's an easy way to make a grill. First, start with this old Speed Champions wheel piece. Then, take two Technic pins with stud and snap them on the holes. Then, take these 2 cheese slopes and put them on each side. After that, take these 2 jumper plates, put them on there. Then take this 2x2 plate, then take 4 of these 1x1s in transparent orange. Could also do red or yellow if you want, or a mix. Then take these 2 grill pieces. You can either have them like this or like this. I'm going to have them like this. Then take 4 of these brackets and put them on both sides. After that, take this tile with this sticker on it, put it on the front. Moving on to the back, take this 1x4, then this clip piece, then put these 2 slopes on here. Then take this 2x4 tile and then put these 2 clip pieces on. Then put that right there. Moving on to the bottom, take these 4 black 1x1 studs and put them on each corner. And then lastly, fish. And that's how you make a grill. Ever heard of the term greebling? It's a term LEGO fans use, and it's common on spaceship builds. I used it on this car with a engine that's kind of big, but not too big. Greebling is just putting elements around, and even though you can't name what each one does, it looks as if each one must have at least one function. Like these 1x1s and this ice skate and this, and basically a lot of things. Some things are actual things, like here's the heads, the intake, distributor, pulleys, fuel cap. Not everything, I can't name what everything does, but again, it looks as if it must have some function in some way, shape, or form. Even down here, if I take the wheel off, there's even more greebling with this stud shooter piece and this 1x1 beam. And over here, there's some more stuff. And I was going to say something and then I forgot. So, on to the next build hack. So, if you take the old Camaro Speed Champion set and you take the taillights off, take the stickers off that, flip them around, and put them so that, and do that for both, and put them so the silver parts face each other, it looks like a pretty convincing engine with a vent right here. This really looks like some kind of small block Chevy. And by the way, this is an unfinished car due to the fact that it's no tire right here, wrong colored rim right there, and nothing right here. And it is a frunk, which is a front trunk. Here's a very, very easy way to make a pretty cool looking chair with three very common parts. This car seat, this blank minifigure head, which I'll talk about later, and this jumper plate. With these three parts, put that right there, and then put this and this here. This looks pretty good. If you have one of these old minifigure heads and take it off and replace it with a new one, set the minifigure aside, and you have this old minifigure head. If you take an eraser, you can actually get rid of all the printing. And see, it's already working. Now it's fully erased. Look at this brick. It might just seem like a normal 2x4 yellow brick, but in fact, this is custom painted. You can custom paint things with spray paint, although I know many LEGO purists would hate me for this. But it's a great way to get custom colors. And this is like it really opens up like whole new possibilities. Look at this group of parts. If you like building Lego cars like me, you'll recognize this as the parts needed to build a simple differential system. Now, most people would just use this or this, but for an upcoming project, I'm going to need something different. Thankfully, I have a 3D printer, and I made this. This is a custom differential frame. First, you take the tan axle and put it in through this central hole. Then you take this 20-tooth gear and put it in there. Set that aside and grab the differential housing. Take the 3 bevel gears, the 12-tooth bevel gears, and put them in the differential. Then I'll take both assemblies and take both red axles and put them in. Now I have a custom differential frame. Now you're thinking, really, Mustang Mania, why not just use a normal one? Take a look. What is one thing that looks different about them? Well, this, but that's not what I'm talking about. The pins on the sides of these are where the upwards facing holes are. Can't really get that with this. And as I said, for an upcoming project, I am going to be needing this, when I upload the video, you'll see that for this application, I'm going to need to have something here. These are just some of the parts that I custom 3D printed. None of these parts currently exist. For example, this 32-tooth gear, this GoPro mount, this 4-long crank, and this 3x3 beam. Plus these 2 engine blocks and this custom frame, among a few others. 3D printing also opens up a whole new world of possibilities. And if you have a 3D printer or a service that you can get to, there's lots of them online. You have pretty much unlimited Lego parts. Of course, the trade-off with these parts that don't exist and 3D printing them is that there will be some tightness to them unless you can find an STL file that makes the holes a little bit bigger. It will be very hard to get things like axles in. And there will be a lot of friction. Sometimes, if you can take a drill and hollow them out, or not hollow, but drill the holes out, and therefore they will work like normal Lego parts. Now, when ordering items from Lego.com, Here's a few things you should know. First of all, sometimes when you order parts, they don't always ship the correct ones. For example, I ordered this and got this. Now, I ordered 2 of these and I got 1 tire and 1 random training wheel instead of a tire. So that's something you should know, is that they won't always give you the exact parts you want. Another thing you should know is when I ordered this golden ring, they did not give me 1 gold ring. They gave me 2. That's because orders are treated like Lego sets. Any small piece, you get an extra of. That usually, because for the same reason, you get extras in sets. In fact, the main reason isn't just so if you lose a piece, you have another. No, that's just an added benefit. It was about when the scales are used to measure the quantity of pieces. However, pieces that are so small, like this gold ring, this 1x1 plate, and this 1x1 lift arm, are all so small that Lego wants to include an extra they want to have 1 extra instead of having 1 less of the piece they need. So if you need 2 of these, you can just order 1 and you'll get the other free. For this next build hack, I'm going to need a hand. And a few more. Using all of these hands, you can make some pretty cool details on engines. For example, I'm using them to make headers for this V8 engine. Just one thing to consider, make sure they're all oriented the same way. Having one that goes the wrong way is not good looking. That just looks off. Actually, this does not 100% come from me. This comes from a YouTube channel called Bricks and Cars. However, his is an inline 6. I made mine a V8. And his is slightly different. So once you get all these all straightened out, you've got a pretty convincing V8 engine complete with headers. This also looks good. So just decide what kind of engine you want. Inline, V, VR, W, 3-bank, W, 4-bank, X, H, U, radial. Whatever engine you want. Then decide how many cylinders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 10, 8, whatever. a gazillion. I really think this is a pretty cool engine, and I might put this in one of my cars, to be honest. You know, maybe a Speed Champions. Taking the aforementioned engine and also taking a Supra. First of all, take that off, then this off, and putting this back on, then taking a 2x4 plate, you can put the engine right on there. Honestly, I think this looks pretty cool. Yes, I know Supras are inline sixes, I think. But who says a Supra can't be a V8? Because this does look pretty cool. You know, I would have done it to my Ferrari, but I don't want to get sued. Alright, time to take the engine off. That was not supposed to happen. Taking the Supra and the engine from the Mustang set. This might be a bit big, but you know what this looks like? It looks like something from Hot Wheels with a big blower that pokes over the top of the car. This thing probably will not go under a tunnel. 0 to 60. Car's still in one piece. This does not look like a car you want to race. Don't worry, that piece of plastic was from 3D printing. Some random scrap. This is a convertible I built. It's pretty cool, but it's kind of boring. I think I need to racify it a bit. So I'm going to show you how to make some cool aero. So first, we're going to need two of these old pieces that go in between the studs. And then a 2x6. Now this thing looks like the Dodge Charger Daytona, like the old one, not the EV. Can also make this simple wing with a 2x6 and a bracket. This wing with some tiles, brackets, and plates. This one, you can also flip these around, or simply this simple one. On the topic of spoilers, this is one of my favorite cars I've built. And it uses some genius building techniques that I'm kind of proud of. First of all, this is the spoiler. That's right, it uses seats. also uses these transparent red spear pieces. And that's just in the spoiler. Since this is a race car, it needs to be low profile. So this is the steering wheel right here. It's mounted on a bracket, so it's at a super low angle. The minifigure in here also has safety in this roll cage made with 2 handlebars. This is the top part of the roof. And to hold this 1x4 plate in and get some extra roll cage look, I used this old piece that's used as a minifigure chest bracket. You can kind of see it. There's also a lot more, like using these slopes to get this cool white and yellow 2-tone pattern. Stay tuned because I'm just planning to make another version of this and in the Mustang Mania livery of black and red. Because why not? So that's pretty much it. Stay tuned for the videos I mentioned, converting a 6 wide to an 8 wide Speed Champions, making the black and red supercar, and the project I was hinting about with the custom differential case. Stay tuned for those, but until then, bye guys, and remember, you ain't done till you stop dreaming.